Want to bring Major Glenn Ignacio in on this, who's retired from Air Force Special Ops and has joined us as an analyst many times during this war between Israel and Hamas. On this particular issue, though, pick up on what Kelly is saying in terms of how the United States might deal with this. Yes, putting a coalition together, but the fear is, again, if it becomes a major issue for companies around the world, already is, that it maybe drags the United States in more from a military perspective than it might ordinarily have wanted to. How do you see all this playing out?
Yeah, so Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has invited about 34 plus countries to be involved. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to create basically a highway. It's going to be much more intense than it was with the counter-piracy issues in Somalia. Now, the issue is that these naval vessels are going to intercept these drones and missiles to protect the civilian force. But as you saw, BP and Maersk has completely decided not to go there. And if I remember correctly, when the ship got stuck in the Suez Canal, that's $6 to $10 billion a day that was stopped in trade. So you have the military function that is definitely going to protect them, but it's still up to the civilian and commercial companies to decide if they're going to go through that area or not.
Right. They've got to feel safe, to your point, doing it, and they've got to feel like their assets are protected. So again, that might mean more military protection or more aggressive military action. Would you expect that from the United States against Yemen in the coming days?
Yeah, especially in a defense, a mechanism as far as protection of these vessels. And then the Houthi rebels have been looking at it saying, hey, if we attack these vessels that are going towards Israel, that may put international pressure on Israel to keep that flow going. But at the same time, I think this is actually going to backfire because now you're seeing 34 plus invitations to protect civilian traffic. That's actually going to apply more pressure against the Houthis. And this is that axis of resistance, which includes Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthi rebels that are backed by Iran. So the whole area is a very tense and critical stage right now.
Yeah, that's the point we've been talking about throughout the show today. And I thought about it on yesterday's show when the IDF spokesperson was telling us that they're closer and closer to all out of war. That was the way the question was phrased. So he responded to that along the border with Lebanon, with Hezbollah. So it just feels like, as serious as it is in Gaza right now, that there might be something more that's on the horizon. How do you feel?
Yeah, I believe so. And you really have to see is that there's a lot of semantics with the words of like, oh, has this actually spilled out? Well, yes, it has. We've seen attacks against U.S. forces in, Syria, Iraq. You see the Houthis launching against commercial vessels and even against U.S. naval vessels. So technically, has it spilled over? Absolutely. And then now when you look at Hezbollah compared to Hamas, Hamas has 30, 40,000 militants. Hezbollah has over 100,000 and they actually have been supported, supplied, reinforced, and financed much more significant by Iran. So it's a different effort, but Hezbollah has picked up its intensity against Israel. And that started on October 8th, the day after the attack.
All right, that's retired Air Force Major Glenn Ignacio. As always, thank you, sir.